Hello everyone. Today we are going to begin on the topic of high frequency, and we would find out the reason why the gain of RC coupled amplifier falls in your HF range. So let us begin by taking the first very simple question of of the topic, that why the gain of RC coupled amplifier falls in your HF range over here. Now just a moment, let me adjust. I hope this is visible. Now, we have been told to refer the equivalent circuit diagram for the amplifier with your voltage source over here. So the diagram looks something like this over here, as we had seen over here in the last lecture. That now we'll start with the input section over here. Now at the input, at LF and MF, your XCI, that is nothing but the reactance provided by this capacitor, is very high. Therefore your CI is as good as open. Now in your HF range, as your frequency increases, your XCI decreases. Therefore your I, that is nothing but your the current flowing through the input capacitor, increases. This is known as shunting effect. Now as your input current, that is nothing but your I it is increasing, your VI decreases. That is your current which is occurring at this point, it is now going to decrease. Therefore if your Vi is decreasing, you would obviously say your VO would decrease, and hence your AV, that is nothing but the gain of the final the final gain of the amplifier, or the voltage gain, would decrease. Now as you can see over here, your CI is responsible for reduction in gain at HF or high frequency. Now at the output, now over here at LF and MF, your XCO is very high. That is, the reactance across your CO terminal is very much high in nature. So CO is as good as open. Now in your HF range, as F increases in your high frequency, in your HF range, as your frequency increases, your reactance on this point decreases. If reactance, or I would say the resistance, decreases, your I dash increases. That is nothing but your shunting effect. Therefore if this increases, therefore less amount of IO is being passed through this RL. So in that case, if IO decreases, your VO decreases over here. Hence your AV decreases in nature. Therefore CO is responsible for the reduction of gain at the output section over here. Now if you would just we'll come back to our main topic over here. Now effect of beta. Now what do we mean by effect of beta? Beta is nothing but the current gain that we are going to discuss. Now in your BJT, as the frequency increases, the HFE or the beta AC of the transistor reduces. That is, HFE at your high frequency is given as HFE at mid upon 1 plus J into F by F beta over here. Don't worry, we'll cover this F beta very soon. Now the formula for HCF over here, it is given by VO by VI, which is equals to minus of J XC upon minus of J XC plus R, which is equals to 1 upon 1 minus R upon J into XC, wherein you have divided your entire this equation by your by your XC over here, and you have received as 1 upon 1 minus R by J into XC. Now your equation is something like this. In your low frequency or the low frequency region, the resistance and the capacitors were interchanged. You had a capacitor over here and you had a resistor over here, wherein in the case of a high frequency, the diagram would look something like this, wherein this is the equivalent circuit diagram of the amplifier at your high frequency. Now your AV is given as 1 upon 1 plus J into 2 pi RC into F. So let your FH be equals to 1 upon 2 pi RC. So now this formula can be converted as AV is equals to 1 upon 1 plus J into F by FH, or the high frequency over here. Now from equation 1 over here, can we say that your AV is equals to 1 upon under root of 1 plus F by FH ka square. So this becomes equation number 2, and your phi is nothing but the angle which is equals to minus of tan inverse F by Fh. Now if you look carefully, we have a minus sign over here. If there is a minus sign, that means the angle lags the output equation. So over here the output lags your input by an angle phi over here. So from equation 2 over here, we can have at f equals to fh, your mod av, which is equals to 1 upon root 2, or av is given as av mid by root 2, which you can be seen over here. If you consider this graph, so at av mid or the mid frequency, the graph was very much simpler in nature. It was a straight line and there was no fall. But when the value of f reached fh, then at that point your av ka value turns out to be 1 by root 2. So your av falls by 1 by root 2 value, or in other words, we can say it is nothing but by av mid by root 2 value. Now fh can be defined as the frequency at which the gain of amplifier falls to 0.707 times its gain at mid frequency. 1 upon root 2 is nothing but 0.0707. So your AV mid can become AV mid into 0.707. So FH can be defined as that frequency at which your gain of the amplifier at falls to a certain value, that is nothing but 0.707 times its actual value at mid frequency. Now the negative sign in equation 3 over here, that is the one which is present over here, indicates that in RC coupled amplifiers your output signal lags the input by an angle phi. So hence your RC network shown is also known as lagging network or RC coupled amplifier, which works as a lagging network in your HF range. Now steps for your HF analysis of amplifiers. Now first of all, we need to draw the circuit diagram of your amplifier with all the stray capacitances. So the diagram would be somewhat looking like this. We had Ci, which was nothing but a representation of all the capacitances which we had seen earlier. Just to give you a gist, this Ci was being represented as an addition of CWI, CMI and CBE. Similarly, the CO present over here was being represented as an addition of CWO, CMO and CCE over here. Now we draw the AC equivalent circuit by shorting the DC sources, shorting the coupling and the bypass capacitor because they are not present at high frequency. Now replace your transistor with approximate model and input voltage source by current source. So this is somewhat important. If you can see over here, we don't have a voltage source over here, we have a current source over here. So here your source transformation is being used. Therefore your HF AC equivalent circuit is equals to your MF AC equivalent circuit plus your stray capacitances. So the final circuit will be as shown over here. So you will be having your this value will be nothing but RB, which was nothing parallel to R pi, the one which we had for BJT, which is being replaced by a model. This capacitor you can either put it over here or you can replace it this capacitor over here also. It's one and the same. This is nothing but the RS, which initially used to be over here in series with the parallel combination over here. Similarly, यहाँ पे we will be having HFEIB and over here you will be having GM VPI. You can either rename any one of them by using any one of them. It can be either GM VPI or HFEIB. Now over here you have RC which is equals to RO, and your RL, which if you take an impedance over here, it is nothing but your ZO dash, which will be nothing but RL parallel your RO. If RL is present, your output current flows through RL. If RL is not present, your output current flows through RC over here. This capacitor which is being mentioned over here, CO, it can be either drawn over here or it can be drawn on the inside also. So there is no hardcore rule wherein which part you want to draw it. Now we'll move on to the further section of calculations for HI, wherein the calculations for FH. Please do note that it is being written in caps over here. The F is written in short and the H is written in capital. So FH at the input or FHI is given as 1 upon 2 pi RCI, where your CI is equals to CMI plus CWI plus your CBE, as we had shown in the diagram previously. Let me show you once again. Your CI over here is nothing but the addition of CWI plus CMI plus your CBE into nature, wherein your CO is an addition of CWO plus CMO plus CCE. Now where your Ci is nothing but Cmi plus Cwi plus Cbe, and R is the resistance in shunt with Ci with your input current source open. So your R is given as Rs parallel RB parallel R by. This will be almost constant for FHI consideration. Your FHO or FH output is given as 1 upon 2 pi RCO, where your CO is given as CMO plus CWO plus CCE, and your R is the resistance in shunt with your CO with your input current source open. So over here the formula for R would be simple, R is equals to RC parallel RL over here. So we need to select the lowest of both of them as your FH or high cutoff frequency. Now HF analysis of your JFET amplifier, it's very much simpler in nature. Now this is the circuit diagram of what you say JFET amplifier in PD bias configuration, and if you look carefully, the extra capacitors are being written over here. The one which are present, one of them is CGD. This is a capacitor which is going to be Millerized into two sections, one in the input and one at the output, because this is connected between the input gate and the output drain over here. Similarly, your CGS is present between your gate and source, and your CDS is present between what do you say your drain and source over here. So when you replace this entire model by your AC analysis, so please do be careful that over here you don't have an RPi. It is simply RG as the first parameter, and it is nothing but R1 parallel R2. So RG is equal, so over here you have RG, then you have Ci over here, and over here you have your RS over here, R signal as you would say. Now on the output section you have what do you say your CO which is present. Then over here the resistance will be comprising of Chotu RD, which was nothing but the output resistance, which is almost a fixed value 50k, we generally take it. If not, it will be mentioned by the examiner. This will be given as RD parallel capital RD parallel RL. So it is given by what do you say RD parallel RL. So your Ci over here is given as CWI plus CGS plus CMI over here. So it is nothing but input wiring capacitance plus input Miller capacitance plus CGS. Your CO is given as CWO plus CDS plus CMO over here. Now your CMI is calculated by the formula CGD is equals to CMI is calculated as CGD into 1 plus A or the voltage gain, and CMO is given as CGD into 1 plus A upon your voltage gain. Now your FHI is calculated as 1 upon 2 pi RCI, where your R is calculated as RG parallel R SIG or R what do you say RS at the input gate or the gate input, as you would see over here, RSIG over here. Now FHO is written as 1 upon 2 pi RCO, where your R is nothing but Chotu RD parallel capital RD parallel your RL over here. So the next topic that we are going to proceed further is what do you say the cutoff frequency or the unity band, unity gain bandwidth of the transistor. Now in your HF range, as your frequency goes on increasing, the current gain of the transistor goes on decreasing. So as you can see over here, the current gain, which is what is given by beta, is going to decrease after a certain point. Now this frequency at which the current gain becomes unity is known as cutoff frequency, or I would say or cutoff frequency, which is represented by the term Ft. Now it is a figure of merit for the transistor. So now how do we calculate it? I'll let you know, don't worry. Now your formula for HT is or formula for Ft. Now from the certain equation, your at F is equals to Ft, your beta is nothing but the value 1. So the value of beta, that is nothing but your current gain, is equals to beta 0 value upon under root of 1 plus Ft by F beta ka square. Since your Ft is very large, therefore we can say that your Ft by F beta will be much greater than 1. So we will what do you say discard this 1 over here, and we will be having beta is equals to beta 0 upon Ft by F beta, which is equals to 1. So your beta 0 is given as Ft by F beta over here. Now therefore your Ft is equals to beta 0 into your Fb. Now Also, your ft can be calculated as beta 0 upon 2 pi r pi into c mu plus c pi over here. The ones which we had discussed in developing the model for high frequency. These two capacitances, one of them is transition, one of them is diffusion. So since your beta is equals to gm into r pi, your ft ka formula reduces to gm upon 2 pi into c mu plus c pi over here. In the equation now in the equation of what do you say f in equation ft is equals to beta 0 into f beta. Since f beta is a bandwidth of transistor, now beta 0 is a current gain. Now ft is also known as gain bandwidth product. So one of the important terms that might come for the exam, or a simple numerical can also be expected on this gain bandwidth product. Now since at this bandwidth or at this frequency your ft or gain, that is nothing but a gain bandwidth product, is unity, your ft is also known as unity gain bandwidth. So important term for Viva perspective, that it is also known as unity gain bandwidth over here. Now the key formula that we have been derived up till this point are somewhat over here mentioned. Now gm is equals to icq upon vt, your r pi is equals to vt by ibq, your f beta is equals to 1 upon 2 pi into r pi c mu plus c pi, your fr is equals to gm upon 2 pi into c mu plus c pi, your beta is equals to gm into r pi, which is equals to icq by beta, icq by vt into beta vt by icq, which is equals to beta over here. Now simple problem on some ft and f beta are being mentioned over here. So let's see what are the numerical comprises of. Now first of all, you need to find your 3 dB frequency of short circuit current gain f beta of a transistor with some certain parameters. You have been given r pi as 2.6k, you have been given your C pi as 2 picofarad and C mu as 0.1 picofarad. So if you want to calculate f beta, it is a direct formula as 1 upon 2 pi into r pi, what do you say, C mu plus C pi. So it is nothing but 1 upon 2 pi into r pi into what do you say, 2 plus 1, that is nothing but 2.1, 2 plus 0.1 it is nothing but 2.1 picofarad, which is equals to 29.1 megahertz. Now moving on to the next numerical, we have for a BJT, your beta is or beta DC is given as 150, your C pi is given as 250, and your C mu is given as 0.3 picofarad, and your ICQ is given as 0.5 milliamps. So find your f beta over here. Now if you remember, the formula for f beta is simple as 1 upon 2 pi into r pi, C mu plus C pi over here. So over here we don't have your r pi into consideration. So first we need to calculate r pi. Since we have been given what do you say, since we know the formula of r pi as beta upon gm, since we have been given beta, we need to find gm. Your gm is given as icq by vt. So your gm is equals to 0.5 upon 26, which is equals to 19.2 millisiemens over here. Your r pi is equals to beta upon gm, which is equals to 150 by 19.2 millisiemens, which is equals to 7.8 kilo ohms over here. So substituting the value of r pi over here, as we get f beta is equals to 1 upon 2 pi into 7.8 kilo into 2.3 picofarad, which is equals to 8.87 megahertz over here. Now for a BJT, another numerical. Now for a BJT, we need to find out what do you say, for beta equals to beta DC, what do you say, we have been given a value of beta 0 or beta DC as 120, your ft as 500 megahertz, your r pi as 5 kilo ohms, your c mu as 0.2 picofarad, your c pi, that is nothing but c pi, your numerical, you need to find out your C pi and your f beta over here. Now your ft is given as gm upon 2 pi into C pi plus C mu. Therefore C pi is given as gm upon what do you say, 2 pi ft minus of C mu. So your gm is being represented as beta by r pi upon 2 pi into ft minus c mu. So the formula for c pi is nothing but 120 by 5k upon 2 pi into 500 megahertz minus 0.2 picofarad, which is equals to 7.43 picofarad over here. Now your ft is given as ft by beta 0, which is equals to 500 megahertz upon 120, which is equals to 4.16 megahertz over here. So now let's move on to the another set of numerical. Now over here you have been given that you have a BJT with IC equals to 1 milliamp, your beta 0 is equals to 150, your C pi is equals to 4 picofarad, your C mu is equals to 0.5 picofarad. We need to find your F beta and FT over here. So your GM, first of all, your GM is given as IC upon VT, which is equals to 1 milliamps upon 26 millivolt, which is equals to 3.46 millisiemens over here. So it was very simple, straightforward formula. Now your F beta is calculated as 1 upon 2 pi into r pi into C pi plus C mu, which is equals to 1 upon 2 pi into r pi into what do you say, C pi plus C mu over here. Now if you look carefully, then this r pi over here is being derived from GM as we had done it in the previous numerical, so please don't get confused over here. Now your FT is given as GM upon 2 pi into C mu plus C pi, which is equals to 38.46 millisiemens upon 2 pi into 4.5 picofarad, which is equals to 1.36 gigahertz over here. So yes, this was all the numerical for unity gain bandwidth. Simple 5 or 2 marks numerical are being what do you say, expected in your term test also, if there is a term test at the very first place. So yes, please do keep that numericals into consideration, and we will proceed further for the high frequency equivalent circuit for MOSFET. Now this is where the difficulty begins, and this is where the diagram would look a little bit dangerous. Now you had a simple MOSFET over here, wherein the MOSFET was being designed in such a way that you had your channel being you had your insertions over here, then you had N channel over here, and this was a P substrate, this was a source terminal over here, this was what do you say, the drain terminal over here. And if you look carefully now, certain capacitors are being included over here. This is the capacitor CDS, which is included between your drain and your source, so it is being named as CDS. The capacitor which is being named over here is given as CGS over here. Now will what do you say, look out for every capacitor. Now first of all, your CGS and CGD, your CGS and CGD over here, these two are connected to gate, are inherent in MOSFET. Now this capacitor represent the interaction between the gate, that is the one which is the uppermost layer over here, metal layer, and the channel inversion layer, that is the one which will be developed over here near the source and the drain terminal over here. Now CGSP and CGDP are parasitic or the overlap capacitors. Now these are known as overlap because SiO2 layer overlaps the source and the drain contacts. Now CGDP, so you have your capacitor over here, this capacitor CGDP, it lowers the bandwidth of the MOSFET. Now CDS, that is the one which is present over here, it is a drain to substrate PN junction capacitance. Your RS, that is nothing but chotu RS, and your chotu RD over here are series resistance of source and drain terminal. Your GM VGS dash, your GM VGS dash represents the what do you say, it shows the gate to source voltage which controls the output current. As you can see from the diagram over here, that your GM VGS dash is nothing but the output current control source over here, and you have a chotu what do you say, RO over here, which is nothing but the output resistance, which represents the slope of the output characteristics in the pinch off region. Now this represents the channel length modulation, so your RO is actually responsible for your channel length modulation. And we will now proceed for unity gain bandwidth or FT for MOSFET. Now This is the frequency at which the short circuit current gain of MOSFET becomes to 1. Now, yes, the current gain of FET somewhat important. Up till now we haven't discussed the current gain of FET. Today for the very first time we are introducing the concept of current gain in FET. So yes, because now the input impedance of MOSFET is not infinite. Now it is finite due to the presence of the CGS and the CGSP over here. Therefore, at the HF, your current gain of MOSFET or FET is defined. Now, using the simplified circuit of MOSFET at HF, this is the diagram for the final MOSFET diagram. Now over here, as you can see over here, you have an input CGS present over here, which is present on the input section, wherein you have a CGD which is connected between output and input. So this has to be millerized into two sections, one in the input and one in the output. Now over here, this terminal, the output terminal is being shorted because we want the short circuit current gain. Hence we have shorted this part over here to get the short circuit current gain over here. Now your II, that was the one which we just saw, II is given as VGS into your S of CGS plus VGS into S of CGD, which is equals to, can I say my VGS is common and S of CGS plus CGD will be into the brackets. Now your GM VGS is equals to VGS into S CGD plus your ID, if you compare with the previous diagram. So your GM VGS your current is given as VGS into S CGD plus ID. Therefore your VGS is given as GM minus SC into GD is equals to ID. Therefore your VGS turns out to be ID by GM minus S into CGD. Therefore your short circuit current gain, that is your AI, is given as ID, that is nothing but by output current upon your input current, is obtained by substituting 2 in 1. So your AI is given as ID by II, which is equals to GM minus S CGD upon S into CGS plus CGD, which is equals to GM minus of J 2 pi F CGD upon J 2 pi F into CGS plus CGD over here. Now your GM is of the range 1 milliamps per volt, which is equals to 1 into 10 raised to the power 10 raised to the power minus 3. Your 2 pi F into CGD is given as 2 pi into 100 megahertz into 0.05 picofarads. So the range turns out to be 0.0314 into 10 raised to the power minus 3. These are the sample values which are being taken. So your AI turns out to be GM upon J into 2 pi F into CGS plus CGD. So therefore your AI on taking the mod, we get the value as GM upon 2 pi F into CGS plus your CGD over here. Now therefore your if we say that your current gain is 1, therefore your GM upon 2 pi into FT CGS plus CGD, which is equals to 1, therefore your FT turns out to be GM upon 2 pi CGS plus CGD. It is almost similar to the ones which we had used for BJT. Now if your overlap capacitors are being considered, the one which we just saw, the overlap capacitor, then FT, the formula for FT turns out to be GM upon 2 pi into CGS plus CGSP plus CGD plus CGD over here. Now the current gain of MOSFET amplifier at the HF over here. Now this is a simple diagram of your MOSFET circuit where RD plays the role of an output resistance. Your input is VGS, output is VO. So the JFET over here is being replaced by the model over here. So over here the CGS and CM are being inculcated. CM stands for Miller capacitance. Similarly over here a final output resistance RD is being taken into consideration. So your II is given as since it is current over here, these terms have to be in in the terminology of current. So VGS into your reactance of your capacitor, it acts as a current over here. So VGS into S of CGS plus VGS into S of CM. Your ID, that is the one present over here, your ID is, if you look into the circuit, it is simply gm vgs, therefore your id is given as gm vgs. Now if from this part, if you take vgs into s common, you get cgs plus cm. Now can we substitute 2 in 1 over here? That means instead of what do you say, now we have id by ii, which is equals to gm upon s cgs plus cm, which is equals to your ai or the current gain. Why? Because it is nothing but the ratio of output current upon input current. Therefore ai or a current gain at hf is given as gm upon 2 pi into f cgs plus cm, which is equals to gm upon 2 pi into f of cg over here, where cg is the sum of all the parasitic capacitors at your gate. Now we will solve some numericals related to this so that it becomes easier for us to understand. Now for a MOSFET ft, what do you say, for a MOSFET, FT is given as 500 megahertz. Your CGSP is given as CGD, CG into DP, which is equals to 0.01 picofarad. Your GM is given as 0.5 milliamps per volt. Your CGS, if your CGD, which is equals to your overlap, find CGS if CGD is equals to your overlap capacitances. That means your CGD ka value is equals to 0.01 picofarad. Now your FT is given as GM upon 2 pi into CGS plus CGSP plus CGD plus CGDP. So this is the formula for FT. We'll substitute the values each and everything over here. We need to find out the value of CGS. So moving forward, now therefore we get the formula something in this format as your 0.1 picofarad is equals 0.1 picofarad into 3 plus plus CGS, which is equals to plus of GM upon 2 pi FT, or you have CGS as GM upon 2 pi FT minus of 0.01 into 3 picofarad, which is equals to 0.5 milli upon 2 pi into 500 mega minus 0.01 into 3 picofarad. So the value of CGS by using this formula turns out to be 0.13 picofarad over here. Now for a MOSFET, your GM is being given as what do you say, just a moment, let me adjust. Now for a MOSFET, your GM is given as 1 millisiemens, your CGS is given as 0.4 picofarad, your CGD is given as 0, your CGS is given to be equal to CGDP. So we need to find what do you say, maximum overlap capacitance for FT, which is equals to what do you say, 350 megahertz. So now here you need to find CGSP or CGDP. Those things are equal to one another, so you can find out any one over here. Now your FT is given as GM upon 2 pi into CGS into twice of CGSP plus what do you say, CGS. Therefore your twice of what do you say, CGSP plus your CGS is equals to GM upon 2 pi FT. Now your CGS can be taken on this side, so your 2 CGSP is equals to GM upon 2 pi FT minus of your CGS, which is equals to 1 millisiemens upon 2 pi into 350 mega ohms minus 2.4 pico, which gives you the value 5.473 into 10 raised to power minus 14 farad. So your CGSP turns out to be this number divided by 2, so it becomes 0.0274 picofarad over here. Now we have been given a different kind of numerical, that for NMOS your Kn is given as 0.2 what do you say, milliamps per volt. Then your Vtn is given as 1 volt, your lambda is equals to 0, your CGD is equals to 0.02 picofarad, your CGS is equals to 0.25 picofarad, your IDQ is equals to 0.4 milliamps. You need to find your FT. So let us begin the numerical. If such kind of numerical do comes in paper, it is basically asked for 5 to 8 marks. So your GM first of all is given as twice of under root of ID into Kn. Since the value of Kn has been given to us and the value of what do you say, ID is given to us, we'll use the formula for GM as twice of under root of IDQ into Kn. which is equals to 2 under root of 0.4 milliamps into 0.2 milliamps per volt square, which is equals to 0.56 millisiemens. Now your Ft is equals to Gm upon 2 pi into Cgs plus Cgd over here. This is Cgd plus your Cgs over here, which is equals to 0.56 upon your 2 pi into 0.02 plus 0.25 picofarad, which is equals to 333 megahertz over here. Now there are certain formulas that we need to understand before proceeding further kind of numericals. So your RO is given as VA by IDQ, which is equals to 1 upon lambda into IDQ. Your GM is being your GM can be written as twice of under root of Kn into IDQ upon Kn into IDQ, which is equals to twice of Kn VGS minus VTN. Your Ft is given as Gm upon 2 pi into Cgs plus Cgd. Now, and if the overlap capacitors are taken into account, then your Ft is equals to Gm upon 2 pi into Cgs plus your Cgsp plus your CDS plus your CDSP over here. There will be a D over here, chotu sa over here. Now we have to note a simple equation over here, that since JFET is a voltage control device, your IC is equals to 0. Since JFET is a voltage control device, IC is equals to 0, IG is equals to 0 over here. Now there is nothing like short circuit current gain and its corner frequency F beta in your JFET. It is possible only in MOSFET and your BJT, but not in JFET. The high frequency circuit diagram, high frequency equivalent circuit diagram for MOSFET or your JFET or your MESFET. If in case of future we might turn around MESFET, so your diagram is something like this. Now this one was which we had seen, simple one. We had two channels over here, one was source, one was drain, then there was an inversion layer over here due to the creation or due to the accumulation of electrons over here. There was a substrate over here, there was CGSP and CDP. This was nothing but overlapping of CGSP was developed due to the overlapping of silicon dioxide and your gate over here, and your CGDP was nothing but the overlapping of SiO2 and your D over there. Now this is the high frequency model of your MOSFET over here. So there are some new terminology that you need to consider. Now if you look carefully, you might be knowing that RG is familiar to us, RS is familiar to us, and RD is familiar to us. Similarly, RO and GM VGS are familiar to us. The only new terms now over here you have CGS and CGSP, CGD and CGDP over here, CGDP over here. Now assuming simplified, this circuit is being simplified over here, then we have assumed that this chotu sub internal resistance are short or very much small in number. So these are three are taken as 0. So this becomes a simple point from G to this point over here. So this diagram on simplification turns out to be over here. So now your CGS remains into the picture, and then your CGD remains into the picture, GM VGS remains, and your RO remains into the diagram. Now your simplified circuit, we assume that the your RG, RD and RS over here, chotu sa, which are equal to 0, which is being shown in the previous diagram. So the formula for FET can also be derived as for BJT. We can have important formulas as follows. Now RO is equals to VA upon 1 by VA upon IDQ, which is equals to 1 upon lambda into IDQ. Your GM again is given by, all these things remain the same that we had seen previously. Now we'll go for a simple numerical, and then we'll continue for bigger kind of numericals. Now over here you have a simple problem. Now for NMOS, your Kn is given as 0.2 milliamps per volt square. Your VTH is been given as 1 volt. Your lambda is 0. Your CGD is given as 0.02 picofarads, and your CGS is given as 0.25 picofarad, your ID is been given over here, and you need to find out your FT. Now your GM is being calculated as 2 into under root of IDQ into K, and so the value turns out to be 0.56 millisiemens, and your FT ka formula turns out to be GM upon 2 pi into CGD plus CGS, which is equals to 0.56 upon 2 pi into 0.02 plus 0.25 picofarad, which turns out to be 335 megahertz over here. Now we'll be proceeding for some bigger numerical so that it becomes easier for the students to understand how high frequency numerical works into real diagram, into real life application. Now as you can see over here, this is a simple circuit diagram of a BJT as an amplifier in PD bias configuration. You have your source and volt, you have your RS and VS present, and your RE is bypassed over here. All the values that are present over here are in kilo ohms. Hence, the term K is missing from all of them. Kindly do not get confused for that. Your VCC is 20 volt, your RL is given as 2.2K, your beta is given as 100, your output resistance chotu RO is given as infinite, so we don't take RO in AC analysis. Your VCC is given as 20 volt. Now for the amplifier shown, what are the things that we need to find out? For the amplifier shown, we need to find FHI, FHO, F beta and FT. Now if your CBE is equals to 36 picofarad, your CBC is equals to 4 picofarad, and your CCE is equals to 1 picofarad. CWI and CWO are given as 6 pico and 8 picofarad respectively. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, सिंस दिस इज अ मदर सर्किट, अगर मदर सर्किट है तो माँ का आशीर्वाद लेना ज़रूरी है बेटा. सो योर आर बी का फॉर्मूला कम्स इन टू पिक्चर. योर आर बी इज गिवन एज R1 पैरेलल R2 which is equals to 8 kilo ohms. Now your V is calculated as VCC into R2 upon R1 plus R2, which is equals to 4 volt over here. Your IBQ, as we had done in simple BJT analysis, it is given as V minus your VBE or VBE on, the value of which is 0.7 constant unless and until being mentioned, upon RB plus 1 plus beta into RE. So this turns out to be 15.7 microamps. Please do remember that the value of IB will always be in micro, so that because it is always in micro, because it is a base current, बहुत छोटा current होता है बेटा वो. Now this is the one which we need to amplify. Your ICQ is given as beta IBQ, so the value turns out to be 1.57 milliamps. Your IEQ is given as 1.587 milliamps over here. Your R pi is given as VT by IBQ, which is equals to 26 millivolt upon 15.7 micro, which is equals to 1.656 kilo ohms over here. The GM is calculated as ICQ upon VT, which is equals to 1.57 milli upon 26 milli. दोनों मिली cancel, दोनों गेले घरी, and it becomes 60.384 milli mo over here. Now the MF analysis, in MF analysis, as we had done in previous cases, we need to short DC and all the capacitors in that case. So since the capacitor at across RE was shorted, it becomes the RE resistance become bypassed. Hence you ask the question yourself, how many lines to be drawn? If your emitter is connected to ground for AC, then in that case it should only have 3 lines. So over here for MF analysis, we have 3 lines present over here. The one which is present over here is known as R pi, then RB, then RS and VS into consideration. The voltage across R pi is known as V pi. Then coming a step back, the V pi is also equals to VI over here. And coming on the output section, you have you can write it as HFEIB or GM pi. Both are one and the same thing. And since we have RC, we'll write RC. Since we have RL, we'll write RL. Now since we have RL, your output current IO will flow through RL in the opposite direction from नीचे से ऊपर, but your voltage is being measured from ऊपर से नीचे. Hence VO के साथ there will be a negative sign. Therefore your AV will have a negative sign in this case. Now your ZB is given directly if I'm standing over here and if I'm looking into the network. बेटा मैं अंदर देख रहा हूँ socket के अंदर, so I'm able to look out to a resistance which is known as R pi, which is equals to 1.65k. Then over here your Zi is equals to RB parallel ZB, so over here it is 1.36k. Then coming a step back, your Zn is given as Rs plus your Zi, which is equals to 2.36 kilo ohms. Now your Zo is given as Rc, which is equals to 4k over here, and your Zo dash is equals to Rc parallel RL, which is equals to 1.42 kilo ohms. Now your AV mid is calculated as VO by VI, which is equals to VO by V pi over here, which is equals to minus GM Zo dash. So it is nothing but simply minus 60.384 into 1.42k. So your AV mid turns out to be 85.74. So please do note that this AV mid doesn't have any gain, any ratio, any units over here. Now your HF analysis. Now for HF analysis, your Miller capacitance or Miller theory comes into a picture, wherein your CMI is being CMI, that is nothing but the input Miller capacitance is given as CBC, the one between base and collector, the one which is connected between input and output is being Millerized as CMI and CMO. So the formula for CMI turns out to be CBC into 1 plus AV mid, which is equals to 4 into 1 plus 85.7, which is equals to 346.8 picofarad. Here CI is equals to CMI plus CAWI plus CBE, which is equals to 346.8 plus 6 plus 36 picofarad, which is equals to 388.8 picofarad. Your CMO turns out to be CBC into 1 plus AV mid upon your mod of AV mid, which is equals to 85.7 plus 1 upon 85.7 into 4 picofarad, which is equals to 4.05 picofarad. So your CO turns out to be CMO plus CCE plus CWO, which is nothing but 4.05 plus 1 plus 8 into picofarad, which is nothing but 13.05 picofarad. Now your FHI is calculated as 1 upon 2 pi R into CI, where your R is nothing but RS parallel RB parallel R pi, as we are discussed in BJT. So your R is given as 0.578 kilo ohms. So your FHI turns out to be 1 upon 2 pi into 0.578k into 388.8 picofarad, which is equals to 708 kilo ohms. Your FHO is equals to 1 upon 2 pi RCO, where your R is given as RC parallel RO, which is equals to 1.42 kilo ohms over here. Now your formula for R is equals to 1.42 kilo ohms. Therefore your FHO is calculated as 1 upon 2 pi into 1.42 into 13.5 picofarad, which is equals to 8.59 megahertz over here. Your F beta is calculated as 1 upon 2 pi into R pi into C pi plus C mu, which is equals to 1 upon 2 pi into R pi or HI into CBE plus C mu, which is equals to 2.45 megahertz. Your FT is calculated as F beta into beta mid, which is equals to 100 into 2.45 megahertz, which is equals to 245 megahertz. So this is a simple numerical wherein your BJT numerical is being considered. We'll consider some more cases, some more difficult numericals, so that it becomes easier for the students to attempt it while performing it in exam. Now over here, the diagram consists of a MOSFET, and we need to design the circuit shown. So we calculate the MF AC parameters with RS bypassed and RS unbypassed. We have two conditions over here. One is with RS bypassed, another one is with RS unbypassed. Calculate FH if your CGS is equals to 1 picofarad, that is being given to us over here. Your CGS is 1 picofarad, your CGD is 0.4 picofarad when your RS is bypassed, and your CDB is equals to 1 picofarad over here. We need to calculate FT. Now considering your CGS equals to 1 picofarad, CGD equals to 0.4 picofarad, neglect the overlap capacitors, one of the important points over here. So now let us again look at the diagram over here. The diagram is of a MOSFET in PD bias configuration. VDD has been given to us as 5 volt, ID is as directly it has been given to us as 0.32 milliamps. Your Vs, that is nothing but source voltage, is given as 1.6 volt. Your Vd, that is nothing but the drain voltage which occurs across which is taken across the RD terminal over here, is given as 3.4 volt. Your I is given, the one which flows through the potential divider configuration, is given as 1 microamps. Your VTN is given as 1 volt over here. Your Kn dash into W by L, which is equals to 1 milliamps per volt square. So I guess majority of the things are being given. We just need to remember the formulas and substitute the values over there. Now your Kn is given as Kn dash into WL into half, so it is given as 1 into half, which is equals to 0.5 milliamps per volt square. Your your Gm is equals to twice of under root of Kn into Id, which is equals to 2 of under root of 0.5 into 0.32, which is equals to 0.4 millisiemens over here. Now your Id is given as just a moment, beta. Now your ID is given as ID is given as VGS minus VTN ka square. Therefore your VGS is equals to under root of ID by Kn plus your VTN over here, so which is equals to under root of 0.32 upon 0.5 plus your 1 volt, which turns out to be 1.8 volt. Your Vs is given as ID by Rs, so your Rs is nothing but Vs by ID, so it is nothing but 16 by 0.32, which is equals to 5 kilo ohms. Your RD is given as VDD minus VD upon 3 upon ID. So 5 minus 3.4 upon 0.32, which again gives you a value nearby 5 kilo ohms over here. Your VGS is given calculated as VG minus VS. Therefore your VG will be nothing but VGS plus VS, which is equals to 1.8 plus 1.6, which is equals to 3.4 volt over here. Now your VG is your VG is given as I into R2. Therefore your R2 is given as VG by I, which is equals to 3.4 upon 1 micro amps, which is equals to 3.4 mega ohms, and your R1 is given as VDD minus VG upon 1 micro, which is equals to 1.6 milliamps over here. Your RD is given as 5 kilo ohms into your RD is given as 5 kilo ohms, RS is given as 5 kilo ohms, R1 is given as 1.6 mega ohms, your R2 is given as 3.4 mega ohms, your RG is nothing but R1 parallel R2, so it is nothing but 1.09 mega ohms. So now first of all we need to calculate your we need to perform MF mid frequency analysis, wherein your RS is bypassed. So over here your VGS is given as VG minus your Vs, which is equals to Vi minus Vo. If you look carefully, this was the the AC analysis ka diagram which we had done for JFET. Please do remember that we don't have any resistance present over here. It is simply an open circuit. So whenever we see an open circuit, we attack on that circuit. That means we'll attack on VGS. We'll attack on VGS. That means we'll perform VG minus Vs, which is equals to Vi minus Vo. Vi minus 0, which is equals to Vi over here. Now your AV is given as Vo by Vi, which is equals to minus of Gm into ZO dash upon which is equals to minus of 0.4 into 3.75, which is equals to minus of 1.5 volt by volt. Now your Zi is your Zi over here is directly given to you as the one which you are looking at from this point, standing at this point, and you are looking into the network, so it becomes 1.09 mega ohms, and over here the Zn becomes 0.1 plus 1.09, which is nothing but 1.19 mega ohms over here. Your RO, your ZO is calculated as RD, capital RD, which is equals to 5k, and your ZO dash is calculated as ZO parallel RL, which is nothing but 5k parallel RL ka value was given as 15k over here, 15k. So the resultant will be less than that, so it is nothing but 3.75k. Now your AVS is calculated as AV into Zi by Zn, which is equals to minus of 1.5 into 1.09 upon 1.19, which is equals to minus of 1.37 volts per volt. So this will be simple cancelled out. Now This is the diagram for the one when you have RS unbypassed. So when RS is unbypassed, you will draw 4 lines, 1, 2, 3 and 4 over here. So this will be simply here the terminal will be open. It will be nothing but VGS. Whenever you see an open terminal with name VGS, you attack on VGS. That is nothing but VG minus VS. You had calculated it previously also. It was nothing but VG minus VI minus 0. That is nothing but VI. So the value of VI that we had calculated in the previous part, it is nothing but simply VI. Now with RS unbypassed, your AV turns out to be minus of GM into ZO dash upon 1 plus GM into RS, which is equals to minus of 0.6 into 3.75 upon 1 plus 0.6 into 5, which is equals to minus of 0.5625. Now here the students, you should note that due to the negative feedback by RS, the gain is less than minus 1 over here. So in this case, your your AVS is calculated as AV into ZI by Zn, which is equals to a minus of 0. 562 into 1.09 upon 1.19, which is equals to minus of 0.514. So the next thing that we need to perform is your HF analysis. So while performing your HF analysis, your capacitor CGD is being broken up into two parts, one at input and one at output. The one at input is known as CMI, the formula being given as 1 plus mod AV into CGD, which is equals to 2.5 into 0.4 picofarad. It turns out to be 1 picofarad, and CMO is calculated as 1 plus mod AV upon AV into CGD, which is equals to 2.5 upon 1.5 into 0.4 picofarad over here, which turns out to be the value 0.67 picofarad. Now your CI is given as CGS plus CMI, which is equals to 1 plus 1, which is equals to 2 picofarad, and your CO is given as CMO, that is nothing but output Miller capacitance plus the one present at the output, which is nothing but DB over here. CMO plus CGS CGD. This will be nothing but CGD. CGD beta. Now this will be CGD, which is equals to 0.67 plus 1, which is equals to 1.16 1.67 picofarad over here. Your FHI is calculated as 1 upon 2 pi RCI, where your R is given as RS parallel RG or RSIG, or the input input source resistance parallel to RG, which is equals to 0.1 parallel 1.09. The resultant will be less than 0.1, so it is nothing but 0.09 mega ohms. So the value of FHI turns out to be 1 upon 2 pi into R, 1 upon 2 pi into 0.09 mega into 2 picofarad, which is equals to 88 4 kilohertz. Your FHO is given as 1 upon 2 pi into RCO, where your R is given as RD parallel RL, which is equals to 3.75. So the value of FHO turns out to be 25.41. Selecting the lowest of both of them, we select FH as 884.1 kilohertz. Now the formula for FT is given as GM upon 2 pi into CGS plus CGD over here. So it is given as 0.4 millisiemens upon 2 pi into 1 plus 0.4 picofarad, which is equals to 45.47. I'll just make you look out, 45.47 megahertz over here. So this was all for numericals.